So for this third roundtable entitled "How do EdTech approach and prepare for soft skills?" I'm pleased to be joined for this discussion with Yvon Morisson and Paul Huguet. Yvon, you are CEO of USAR Academy, and you are also Professor of Digital Marketing and Academic, and you are also Director of the Master in Digital and Marketing Innovation at ISEG. And Paul Huguet, you are CEO of VocaCoach. VocaCoach is a digital oral expression coaching tool provided by artificial intelligence and voice analysis. And USAR Academy is an open innovation ecosystem for students and companies, and USAR Academy supports to bring out and launch innovation. So to start this roundtable, I would like to submit the first question to my panelists. What would be your advice? What would be the advice you would give to teacher in order to develop the soft skills of the students? Maybe Yvon, you can start.
Yes, thank you very much. So maybe to illustrate my answer, I can show you a video and show you what we do at USAR Academy. In fact, to answer the questions, I would say that one of the aspects teachers can develop is to develop learning by doing pedagogy. To let the students the opportunity to practice in the real world. So here at USAR Academy, as you mentioned, Nicolas, we develop a global ecosystem, including different kinds of schools and university. So engineering schools, business schools, coding schools, or design schools. And we mix students all together, and they are able to answer to real case study provided by companies we are partnered with. So it can be from the startups to the big companies like CAC 40 here in France. And it can be about different industry, different topics like AI, big data, like developing an app and something like that. And we have two types of products. So we have ideation session like hackathon, creative jam, design sprint, and so on. And we have also long-term projects like to develop an MVP or dedicated prototype to the real case study provided by the company. And during all these different projects, as students are like in real life, they can develop many different soft skills, like how to develop leadership, how to develop innovation, how to develop creativity, how can I develop my skills to make a pitch, so to be comfortable in overall situation. So this will be my first advice to get not only pedagogy focusing on theory that is more adapted to hard skills, but to focus on this kind of initiatives to develop these soft skills. So this will be my first advice. And my second and last advice would be to do it in a long term. Because soft skills compared to hard skills are not able for students to be acquired in a classical course, like in a 16 hours course. It is something that you will develop during your whole life, both professional and educational life. So I would say there's a two specific answer to your question, Nicolas.
Thank you. And Paul, what will be your advice to develop student soft skills?
Yes, I agree completely with Ivo on the learning by doing aspect of the soft skills. I think it's very important to be in the right situation to learn a soft skill, because it's a lot of learning when you are in a certain situation. Firstly, I think my first advice would be that you have to make the students aware of what kind of soft skills they need to train, because they don't necessarily know what are soft skills, what they need to train to pass interviews, to get a job or things like that. So I think it's very important so that they have a specific goal on like 3 soft skills like time management or public speaking or stuff like that. So they have a certain goal and a skill to train. And then they have to train and to be in the right situation, to put themselves to the test. So there are some tools for that. So for example, for public speaking, from my experience, I'm the CEO of Voca Coach, which is a public speaking app. So the idea is that you train on the long term, as Yvonne said, of speaking in public in front of your computer, and you have an automatic feedback on what you said and how you said it. So with the right tone, or maybe you said some wrong words or stuff like that. So I think training in the long term with specific tools is very important, and that is my second advice. So my first one is to know what you want to train, and my second one is to actually train and put yourself in the right situation so that you can train better and have a specific goal.
Thank you. Thank you for your advice. I have this feeling that in different articles and actually everybody is very focused on soft skills. Everybody's talking about soft skills, the importance of the soft skills, the way to behave. Companies also are seems to give more and more importance that to employ, to recruit young employees with a certain capital of soft skills. But it seems that it seems hard to acquire soft skills. Why do the soft skills seem difficult to acquire today, knowing that everybody is talking about?
Do you want to answer?
Yeah, Yvon?
Paul, or I will start. So I would say first, because it's quite new compared to hard skills. That is, I would say, historically the kind of skills that university and schools focused on, because it was the kind of skills expected by companies to apply for a job. And now things have changed. If I go back to the previous panels, it was mentioned that people would change a few times their kind of job. It was also mentioned that new technology appear, like artificial intelligence and tomorrow a quantum computer, and you have zero chance to win against this kind of technology. So you do not have to focus anymore, or not so much, on hard skills like calculate in a fast manner or this kind of stuff, because the machine would be much more efficient than a human is. So you have, in my opinion, to focus on the area where humans would be much better than machines. And soft skills is so far part of it. Maybe it will change in the future, but this capacity to create, this capacity to innovate, this capacity to be what we call human with people, so able to talk with people, to also to adapt in a very fast manner. If I compare, for example, to artificial intelligence, a few years ago, it was a big buzz because artificial intelligence won against the world champion of chess. But what is not said is the fact that this AI, if you try to play in a very simple game, like I don't know, something for a kid that is 3 or 4 years old. What is not said is that this AI would have lost, because AI is not able to adapt so fast compared to a human. You have to redevelop the algorithm and everything. It's the same also for the robot. A robot is very good to do a specific task, but when you think about doing a new one, you have potentially to build a new robot. So on this specific aspect, do not fight where the robots, AI, and so on are good. Fight where they are not. And so far, soft skills is this. So to answer the question, yes, it's new. It's a different perspective because right now you have to switch from the hard skills, where right now new technology are much better than the human. So you have to, I would say, to make it simple, reinvent education in a certain way. So you have to think about a new perspective, new way to teach. You have also potentially to adapt the way professors teach, because we are not anymore in this way where professor provided information. Right now, I can tell you that Google is much more better than any professor in the planet. It's the same for YouTube. So you have to adapt this change to a new educational system. And it takes time to do this switch. So this is maybe the second reason. Because what is the more difficult in this world is not about technology. Technology is not a problem. The problem is about the human, because they hate change management, and to make people switch from pedagogy 1 to pedagogy 2, that is completely different, would take also a lot of time. So I would say yes, to summarize, new skills and new way to teach. So it's a big challenge.
Paul, do you share the same observation?
Yeah, I think that's very, very interesting what you said about the AI aspect, because like right now AI are learning so fast the hard skills, some things that humans can do. And you mentioned AI in chess. Right now AI is crushing every human chess players. We can compete with them. It's impossible, but we still have some things that define us as human. That computers can do, as you mentioned, and that is what we need to invest in. I don't know, the relation we have with the relationship with other humans, communication, things like that. We have to train them, so we are still not obsolete when robots will able to do that. I don't know, maybe in the future, but right now they can't. And so why are soft skills so hard to train? Well, maybe because it's really tied to personalities and what define us as humans. You kind of have to take the big leap when you want to improve in a certain soft skill. So, for example, in public speaking, glossophobia, so the fear of public speaking, is one of the most common fear in the world, even before the fear of death. So it's very common, and it's something you have to train, but it's so hard because you have so much fear when you are watched by people that are listening to you, who are judging you, even if they don't want to. It's just humans. They are judging you in like 10 seconds when you start to speak. So you really have to take the big leap and to start train hard when you want to get better in a soft skill, and you have to do it on the long term, as Yvonne said in his first answer, because it's really hard to change it like in a day or two when you train. You really have to commit and to say, okay, all right, today I'm gonna work on my communication. I want to meet new people every day, something like that. And when you do this every single day, you will get better at communication. And if you want to get better at time management, well, maybe you should like play some games where you are under pressure, under the time pressure, and you will need to get under the limit of time to finish the game or stuff like that. But you really have to set goals and to do it on the long run so you can get better. And that is my advice.
Regarding, you were talking about pedagogy, that Yvon, maybe the pedagogy have to change. But do you think that maybe university which have already a particular approach in terms of pedagogy? I'm thinking about the Catholic university, knowing that you know the values, the use of values in the training approach is important. Sometimes we call it the integral training approach. So it means that at university, in Catholic university, students are trained to art skills, to technical aspects, but also train, in fact, how to become, you know, an adult, a citizen, and also a manager. So this aspect of you train the brain, you train the heart, and you train the hand. Do you think that could be also I mean, it's not new, but it's something that maybe have to be known, and maybe it's can be an innovative way or approach in terms of pedagogy in order to train to soft skills?
Yes, in fact, maybe to summarize what you say, what is maybe important to go further than just making a difference between a human and a machine is to say that each human is unique. And what is very difficult when we think about soft skills is the fact that there are many soft skills. So there are a lot of soft skills. And the thing maybe that we could imagine to do, and what could be the role of Catholic universities, is to help people to feel also unique and to become unique, and to have a specific role in the society regarding this. And I do not like to make the opposition between a human on the left side and technology on the right side. In my opinion, a human is central and technology are just tools. So what I could recommend to Catholic universities is really to focus on technology, to have kind of levers, and to try to kind of create unique and augmented people, augmented humans to help them to grow, to go further. And technology could do that if we focus on what Paul is doing with VocaCoach, and we could do this kind of thing for any soft skills. We can evaluate what is the level of the students in terms of public speaking if we focus on VocaCoach, and we can also, let's say, make personalized advice to grow, to go further. And maybe it could be the future role of the professor, not only focusing on art skills that could be done in the future by AI, by YouTube, by Google, by anything you want. And the professor would more become like a coach, a personalized coach. We really focus on both the skills that the students already had, because sometimes the students don't know the skills they have. they are not able they really more focus on their not on their strengths, but where they have to develop things. So it's very important for students to say, to let them know, hey, you know what, you are good on this, on this, on this, on this. Maybe you can go further, and you have this, and this to develop. You have things to do, and maybe regarding the values of Catholic universities, it can be a way to differentiate, to really focus on the human aspects of the students, and maybe to offer a new role, a new position to the professor with this kind of position of super coach, in the way that it would be really personalized and really with this objective to let the students to grow in a good manner, I would say, in the future.
Yeah, to grow as a manager and as an adult, as a worker also. Maybe Paul, you would like to add an observation?
Yes, I can add some things. Yes, so tools and edtechs are like yeah, they are like tools for students so they can get better at soft skills, but it will never fully replace their professor, of course. The human aspect is so important, and that's what makes us humans so good at this. It's communication, it's all these soft skills are so important. And when we talk about AI and technologies, there are good tools to help you know what kind of training you need, what kind of advice you need, and to make you feel, to realize that you are good at some things too, and to make you feel good about yourself. But the final aspect of soft skills is that when, for public speaking, for example, when you speak, you don't want to speak in front of a computer. You don't want to talk good for the robots. You want that humans understand you. You don't want that AI understand you. So the point is that AI can guide you in the right direction, can give you a lot of tips or tools so that you can get better. But at the end, it's your professor and the human public that will decide if you're good or not. So AI and technologies cannot replace the professor in Catholic universities, but they are good tools. So you can save some maybe hours of work of a professor who can provide dozens of tips for every student in the school. But maybe you give them a tool, and then you act as a coach, and you try to understand what specific needs have the students, and then you can give your tips and your knowledge as a professor and a human professor.
Thank you, Yvon. Thank you, Paul, for your observation.
Thank you.